Welcome to the Science and Art of Open Water Swimming. Today we're heading to Geographe Bay to explore the story behind one of Western Australia's fastest growing open water swimming events, the GeoBay Swim. What started as an idea during Ironman training sessions in Busselton has grown into a unique 20k point-to-point swim from Dunsborough to the Busselton jetty. Along the way, swimmers are supported by a series of beach-based changeover stations, affectionately known as beach parties, creating a very different experience for many traditional marathon swims. My guest today is Sam Moore. Sam has a background in events, operations and logistics, and was one of the driving forces behind bringing the event to life in 2023 under its original Cool Water Classic banner. Over the past year, I've had a number of guests mention the GeoBay Swim as an important event on the WA swimming calendar. What makes it particularly interesting to me is how it appears to have been designed to lower some of the traditional barriers to open water swimming. The beach-based support model, relay options, and welcoming atmosphere have opened the door for many swimmers who may never have considered tackling a long-distance open water event. In this conversation, we'll explore where the idea came from, the history of the swim, the people who influenced its development, and how GeoBay has evolved into an event that now sells out and continues to grow. We'll also discuss whether accessibility has been a deliberate part of the event's design and what role the swim can play as a stepping stone towards bigger open water challenges. Sam, welcome to the podcast.
Hey Grant, thanks for having me.
So for listeners who haven't experienced the GeoBay Swim, how would you describe the event and what makes it unique?
How do I describe it? I'd like to describe it as being fun and focused on inclusion and people getting out and enjoying it. Enjoying the bay, enjoying swimming, and the community around swimming is what I hope people describe it as.
And if we were to look a bit more into your background, how did you first get into swimming and an endurance-based sport?
Yeah, I suppose the majority of kids growing up did swimming at school and then the local club, and was relatively good. Came second every year through high school to the same guy at a swimming carnival. So that's maybe my desire to be better. I was never the best, but I was always up there. Did a few state carnivals, that type of stuff. And then as the school finished, it kind of faded away into the background. And then I picked it back up kind of later on, and the open water element got away from the pool open water element, and it just changed my thinking and everything. It's fantastic.
So tell me a bit more about that, about how that engagement with that open water scene and how that changed your perspective.
Yeah, so it's probably throughout COVID is where I really picked it up. I moved back from Melbourne back to Dunsborough and had the bay there out along the Cape and the natural environment to go out and enjoy the swimming conditions. So I kind of started swimming a bit more, either in the nets down there, out at the Yellow Lagoon, in the pool with the local club here and there, and then fell in with the local triathlon group and decided I'd do an Ironman, tick the box. So that involved a whole bunch of swimming and training throughout the southwest there.
So I understand that one of your first bosses within an employment sense in this event space was Dave Budge, one of the guests we had on earlier. What did you learn from him?
Loads. Dave, so I worked for Dave in he was probably my first boss in events outside of uni. I signed up to volunteer at one of the events as a bit of coursework, and then started as casual crew and ended up being there for a couple of years. And this was back when we're doing, I think it was a Pure Blonde triathlon series. We did a couple of national events in the Swan River, the freeway bike hike, around the river bike ride, the Great Bike Ride, I think it was called at the time. And it was during an era where there was so much going on, and Dave was this wealth of knowledge and seemed to be able to get an idea and bring it to life, him and the team, and pass on that to me through hands-on experience on the ground, and then through different means.
Now, as you said, when you've come back to Dunsborough and you started training for an Ironman, I believe it was during that training for that Ironman that the seed for the GeoBay was planted. Could you tell me about the training sessions and what was going through your head?
Yeah, so started the training program, was in the pool a lot, doing my own thing, joined the local training group down there, Toughen Up, under Mick Bray, and was in the pool on the Sundays and throughout the week. And then as the weather got better towards Ironman WA, we're out in the bay. And I think every Sunday or every weekend there'd be a long swim. So you'd all go down, jump in, swim along the beach for your 20 minutes out or whatever it is, turn around, swim back, meet up. And that was your session. Then you go off and do your second, the bike or the run or something like that. And these just got longer and longer sessions, and it kind of clicked on me. I was kind of like, the pool's great, but the bay's amazing. Like, it's sheltered, it's calm, you can see the bottom the whole way, you felt safe. And I was living in Dunsborough, so I could go swim down in Dunsborough or up in Busselton or anywhere along there. And it's just kind of like, wow, this is an amazing environment that we've got. And it kind of dawned on me. I've done the Roto swim previously, and there's some other longer swims. And with my events background, I kind of went, it'd be great to have a point-to-point swim here. We've got the jetty swim, which is awesome, a great experience. I've done that a couple of times, and it's fantastic. It's a high energy day, lots of people. But I kind of thought, I wonder if there's the option to put a longer point-to-point swim on where people can stretch out a little bit more. And in that thinking, I sat down with the local marine rescue group who I had dealings with through work previously. And they kind of said, oh, yeah, that's been done before. I said, there's never an original idea. So that was a bit of a bugger. And then they pulled up a picture of Mick and said, this is a bloke you need to speak to. He's done it before. He knows everything. I went, wow, that's funny. Being the tri coach that he is, and I was obviously training under him. And so I picked up the conversation with Mick, and the rest is somewhat history, I suppose.
So you spoke with Mick, and what did you find out, or what did you discover that had already occurred around this space?
Yeah, so I sat down with Mick and kind of said, hey, I've had this idea, but you've already had it. And he said, yeah, he'd done the swim 10 years prior or something like that. And it was born out of, I think he was training some swimmers to do the Roto swim. It could have been one of his boys. And Roto got cancelled, and they were devastated, as you could imagine, all that work leading up to that moment. So then they kind of said, well, let's just do it anyway. And being Busselton locals, they just went along the shore from the Dunsborough jetty boat ramp there, or marine rescue, and finished down under the jetty, which was a convenient 20 kilometres away, similar distance to Roto. And they built it out from that. And I said, oh, well, that's kind of my idea. And he had the skeleton there. So with his permission and praise, I picked it up and ran with it from there.
In terms of Mick's original idea, what have you changed, or what do you do differently to what was actually in place originally?
So Mick's original course is effectively the course that we do now. The beach party locations are all the same. They move slightly each year depending on where the waterline is and where the inlet flows out at the horse beach there. We tacked on the little up and back at the start line just to get it to the 20 kilometre mark. Otherwise it comes in at 19.8 or 19.9 or something like that. And we kind of said, well, let's just tick it over the 20. Sounds nicer. People want that little bit extra. Maybe as they get through their swim, they're cursing us. They don't want the little bit extra. And it was also just a way that we could then logistically control swimmers meeting up with paddlers. You see it at Roto and Port de Pub. You have to clear a certain distance before you can meet up with your paddler. Spectators get to see their swimmers go out and back. So it adds a little bit more to it, a bit of a show and experience for the swimmers. So yeah, we've kind of used his framework as it, and then built it out a little bit more around the beach party aspects. Brought in the entertainment, the bit of catering. I don't think at the start they had any recovery stations along the way. There's a bit of self-support. You'll get there, you'll be right type thing, which we knew modern day events, people expect that type of stuff. You pay an entry fee. You want to see what that money goes towards. So we brought on effectively the race model of a normal open water swim or fun run or bike ride and applied it to Mick's course.
So from the outside, the GeoBay Swim feels intentionally designed to reduce some of those barriers to participation. And one of those, for most, if we think of things like the Rottnest Channel Swim or extended distance, require a boat. Was there much in terms of the planning around this? Was that part of the considerations to try and make it or reduce those barriers?
Yeah. In talking to Mick, they didn't use boats, and we looked at it and said, look, we want to keep that up. Boats just add another element to the event and the day. It's stressful for the skipper, it's stressful for the crew, and the course leads itself to not requiring power vessels. You can swim close to the shoreline, so there's no real major safety concerns. If anything goes wrong, you can quickly get ashore. The paddle craft is required so people can carry their water, food, all that type of stuff. And it's a visual marker for any other water users. So there is boats out on the water. We passed a couple of jetties and boat launching points. So the paddler is there for that visual bit, both for the swimmer in water, for people on water, and as us as the event, we can see people as they move along the coastline. So yeah, we definitely knew we needed something. We can't just send swimmers out, oh, go that way, off you go, you'll be right. And Surf Life Saving, we engage with them, and the risk was too high just to send swimmers off. The paddler allows us a visual stimulant to see people out on the water. And we knew power vessels just wasn't going to work in that area. There'd be too many boats in such a small area, and that was a recipe for disaster.
And for those that are unfamiliar, can you explain these beach parties, what they're there for and how they are utilised throughout the event?
The beach parties, the best way to I describe the event is you're in a team, but it's a relay style event. So each person starts a leg, they then have to finish their leg, come into the beach party. At the beach party, we have entertainment, we have recovery food. It's a point where spectators and supporters can come see their swimmers, see their teammates, enjoy the event. I know my partner hates me going and doing swim events because she sees me at the start and the finish, and that's it. So we want to build something out for the spectators and supporters as much as the participants. And that's what these spots are. So you can come in, we allow solos to come in, duos, teams, they can all come in, cross between the flags. We stop the clock, which is an intentional decision, especially around teams, because we don't want people coming in feeling rushed because that clock's ticking, and then they forget their swim cap or put the wrong goggles on or do some silly mistake. So we stop the clock and we give everyone a 15-minute grace period. And then when they go back into the water, we start the clock again. So it allows everyone to stop, take a breath, enjoy the event for what it is, have a chat, have a laugh with their supporters, their swimmers, and then keep going. And then the beach parties themselves are somewhere for their supporters, their spectators come down, cheer on, and enjoy the day as much as the swimmers and paddlers do.
I really like that concept of stopping the clock or basically having that transition period as free time. If we think about other events that have a relay component, such as the Roto Swim, the Lake Argyle, where swimmers are jumping in, tagging, and if you're in a duo, you don't actually talk to your teammate the whole way across to wherever you're the finish line. And in this instance, there's that potential for actual interaction and conversation.
Yeah, 100%. One, it was last year, and one of the beach parties, I bumped into a girl I'd done a swim camp with, and I was like, "Oh, hey, great to see you." And she was doing a duo. I was like, "Oh, who's your swimming partner with?" And she pointed across the beach party to a mate that was chewing down some gels or something like that. And I joked, I was like, "Oh, you meant to be in the water?" And she's like, "No, you stop the clock. We're going to enjoy it for the day for what it is." I mean, she'll get going shortly. So I was kind of like, "Oh, that's really nice to have that feeling of people going, yeah, you know what, we're doing in this together. We're going to enjoy it together and make the most of the day."
So Where did the concept come from to, rather than just having a transition or a changeover area, to actually create this beach party? Where did that idea come from?
It came from me as, maybe I shouldn't say from me, but this idea that it was for the mid-pack swimmers. There's 2% of your race that are going for the line honours and want to be the first to cross the line. Everyone else is there for a good time. So we kind of sat down, we said, let's build that out, give them the experience of the event to enjoy it for what it is.
And again, in terms of some variations to what you might see at traditional open water swimming events, there's a wetsuit category. Why is this offered?
Again, going back to that mid-pack swimmer or the wider community, the bay it's called the Cool Water Classic for a reason. It's cool water. And we know a lot of people want to get out there and swim, but they need, or they prefer to swim in a wetsuit because it's cold, they're more comfortable. So we kind of said, you know what, if you want to swim in a wetsuit and that's going to get you out in the water, being active and enjoying it, go for it. That's what we're about. The true, again, I don't want to say true, but traditional swimmers will be like, nah, wetsuits are for the week or whatever it is, which is fine. Go for it. If you want to get out there in your swimmers and or race suit or whatever, that's you. But then there's a whole other category of people that kind of want the wetsuit. And we're positioned a couple of weeks, 3 weeks before Ironman WA, and we kind of thought there would be a lot of triathletes that going into their last long swim, they probably want that experience of swimming in the bay under race conditions, all that type of stuff. And we know triathletes love a wetsuit. So we said, if they, come on down, get a team of 5 together or jump in on one of the legs with another team and wear your wetsuit, you're more than welcome.
So we haven't actually sort of discussed the logistics. How many beach parties are there? How many transitions? Are all the legs the same distance? Could you just maybe give some information around that?
Yeah, so there's 4 beach parties, 4 official beach parties. We've yet to see any unofficial ones pop up along the way. The boys from Busselton might have different plans this year. You might have seen it in our promotions last year. But yeah, 4 official spots where people can come in and out of the water. And then the legs vary. The shortest leg is 2.5 kilometers, and then the longest leg's 5 kilometers. So there's something in there for everyone. We're a bit hamstrung by the logistics and beach access to change the length of the legs and just around the parking, and a lot of it is private property that we go in front of or swim along. So yeah, the spots are kind of set to those distances, which I think allows someone the option to, if you're a strong swimmer, you can team up with someone that's a bit of a sprinter or a shorter distance, and you can build a varied team, or the duos that can give someone the opportunity to go really long and then someone else can just chop in and do the shorter legs for them. So there's a fair bit of variance in there for who does what leg and who goes when.
So you've mentioned that the water temperature is a little bit cooler, and that's most likely where the original name came from. How much do you think that water temperature influences swimmer decisions as to participating with a wetsuit, or how long their legs might be?
Yeah, it's a very personal question for each swimmer. My partner loves cold water. She will swim every day of the year. And I'm a bit of a sissy in that I'm not a huge cold water fan. I'll get out there and do it. And I know there's evidence to say cool or cold water is good for you. But personally, I get a bit shivery. So yes, I guess some people will look at it and go, oh, cool water. They get a bit scared of it. Whereas other people might have that same reaction about, oh, that's a challenge that I'm excited to have a go at and see what I can do. And yeah, comes back to what each person wants out of the swim. If they're looking for that wetsuit comfort, they can have that option to make their day the best possible day it could be.
So maybe if we were to summarise, if someone was going to design an open water swim event from scratch today, what lessons do you think you've learnt about lowering those barriers to participation?
that's a good one. Definitely the logistics of the day for the participant. Obviously, choose where you're holding your swim. We're in the bay, so it's a nice, safe, calm area. I say that with an asterisk. Obviously, the first year we got belted by a headwind the whole way, and as an organizer, we went, "Oh God, people might not come back. This is terrible." And then last year we were lucky enough to have a classic southwest day with minimal wind and calm water. So weather's out of your control, but choose a location where you're protected from as many elements as possible, from swells and high waves and that type of stuff. And then the logistics around it for participants. We talked about the boat thing. If you can eliminate more moving parts for people, the better it is for them. Point to point makes a bit difference because you do have to move people. If it's an out and a back or a lap circuit, they're great. I'd just be a bit cautious that they can, if you're doing 10 laps of 1 kilometre, that might get a bit boring for the participant. So, yes, but I suppose in short, the answer for that would be do some research on your venue and what you're looking at and how the venue works for your event.
So in saying that, obviously not wanting to be bored by doing multiple laps, and you've got this point-to-point swim, how would you describe what the swimmer will experience across that 20 Ks?
They will experience some of the best swimming on offer in Western Australia, if not Australia. The waters are generally clear that time of the year. You swim over these expansive seagrass beds. Marine life is out there. There's fish, there's stingrays, there's all kinds of stuff out there. A lot of the feedback we get is people saying, "Oh wow, I got to swim with a dolphin went past," or something like that. And it's just that in touch with nature. We also pass a lot of beaches. People go to the southwest and they'll instantly go to Yallingup or Smiths or down to Margaret River or Meelup, which are beautiful, beautiful beaches. We get to swim along some coastline that people don't generally get to see. And it's quite amazing what's along that coastline where you drive along Caves Road and it's houses or campgrounds or something like that, and you don't know what's on the other side. Some of that coastline is stunning. Pure, long, white, sandy beaches, and there's a snorkel trail at West Busselton, which we go across, which people can go back and enjoy and take the kids there to swim around and follow the trail and see what's out there.
Now, if we look at the swimmers that are involved, so who would you say, who are the typical swimmer that enters the GeoBay Swim?
We see, we're starting to see a lot of people coming back, which is really nice from our side of things. We're obviously doing something that people enjoy and want to come back and redo. We see some great names coming along. Like we've had in our first year, Andy Donaldson was our ambassador and came down and swam in a team. We've seen Callum, he's won it 2 years now and he's returning this year. Christine Murray and Josie Page have both been involved. And even further afield, Anna Strawn from Queensland has come across, I think, 3 years running now. So we see these quite high profile and accomplished swimmers. But then on the flip side, we're seeing so many of the clubs, and I mentioned it before, the mid-pack swimmers come down and enjoy it. And we're seeing lots of women. Like the girls are making up the majority of the numbers, which is awesome. The Swimming Women Club have taken out the club challenge consecutively now. So we're looking for a club to pip them up on the post. But we've seen the West Coast Masters and Bold Park Masters are big in numbers. There's a couple of tri squads that are getting involved. So it's a real variety of people from all walks of life, which is really great to see the community come out and support it.
You've mentioned earlier how it's sort of 3 weeks out or thereabouts from Ironman WA, and so the triathlon group can engage effectively in that preparation. Do you see the GeoBay Swim as a stepping stone for others towards bigger swims?
Yeah, definitely. And people can come down and do the GeoBay Swim in that relay style, the ease of the logistics of you don't need a boat, all that type of stuff we've talked about. And then they might go, you know what, I want to have a go at Port to Pub or Rotto Channel Swim or the Lake Argyle Swim. Because they're all similar distances. You then know you've got the fitness and skill and all that type of stuff. You can then add on those different moving parts. And on the other side, we want to kind of encourage people that are looking to step up from less distance events, so the jetty swim or something like that. They might be looking for that next little challenge, but not ready to commit to some of those other events where it is a little bit harder to organise your friends and crew. So we kind of see ourselves in the middle ground of the different events across the state and across Australia. But I'd like to think, anyone that can come down, and we've seen it actually, people have come down as a duo for us and then gone on to take on Rotto as a solo or Port to Pub, or they've used us as a training swim leading into that summer series or summer swims.
And from your experience as a swimmer, where do you, obviously you're going to tell me it's the greatest swim in Australia, but in terms of the experience you're going to get or how it differs maybe to some of the other swims that you might do of this sort of distance?
Yeah, I've done Rotto twice as a team, and Rotto's a great day. And I imagine Port to Pub's a great day as well, because you're on the boat with your mates on a good weather day. The sun's out, you've got music going, there's everyone around you. It's a beautiful day. And then you roll into the island and everyone's on a high because they've achieved that goal of getting to the island for either the first time or the 10th time or whatever it is. So that party atmosphere is pretty hard to beat. Lake Argyle, I've never been up for the swim. I've done a swim camp up there, and that's just a whole nother experience in itself. Swimming in fresh water, knowing there's nothing around for kilometers. It's just so vast and surreal. It's amazing. So we want to be seen as the swim event for not just swimmers, but for the participants and spectators and hangers on. Everyone can have a great day with us and be involved across multiple elements of the event.
Now, the event has sold out for this year. Were you expecting it to sell out so early?
No, absolutely not. We came really close last year to selling out the numbers that we had forecast. This year, we increased numbers a little bit. We're confident. We're like, we'll get them eventually, as we get closer. But to see it sell out so quickly like that and still have people emailing and knocking on the door saying, hey, can we get in? Yeah, it's great. It's a good place to be. And again, it kind of shows what the time and effort we've put into it is people are enjoying it.
So what do you think is really driving that growth?
It's the word of mouth, I think. People have come, done the event, gone away, told their mates, told their swim clubs, and kind of said, hey, this is great. We went down south, we had a swim, had a good time. A lot of people make a weekend of it. Just before summer kicks in, everyone gets busy and Christmas and all that type of stuff. And they've, come down, experienced and gone away and told people. I was speaking to a gentleman from South Australia. They're coming over. I think there's about 20 people from Adelaide coming over for it, which we were kind of like, wow, I don't think we had anyone from South Australia previously. So, and he said, someone had spoken to someone and said it was a good day. So they're coming over to us. So, I guess it's that word of mouth and that experience of doing it. People are keen to come and do it again or get involved.
And I understand that there's been discussion around having a 10K option. What's the thinking behind that?
Yeah, so we offer the 10K option for people looking to qualify for Port to Pub and Rotto. So the first 3 legs, if you do that, there's a couple of conditions you have to meet. You can use that as your qualifying swim. So we're trying to toy up how we can include a 10-kilometre swim into it. That's a work in progress at this stage, just around logistics and the finish line. we realized we don't want people to finish at beach party 3 because they might get lost amongst that finish line feeling, all that type of stuff. So we want to focus on that finish line in front of the goose at the jetty there. So we're just trying to work out how that is. We're also looking at bringing in a shorter distance event for people that either don't want to take on a team entry or the 2.5K leg, something a bit shorter. So people that are looking for a swim, or you've paddled, or you've been a hanger-on supporter, you can go, actually, I'm going to jump in and have a swim as well. So it gives everyone another little option. Or if you've done the full whack as a solo and you want a little bit more, you can get that little bit extra if the arms want it.
You mentioned that swimmers can use this as a qualifier for Port to Pub Roto, having a 10K swim. Is there any qualification standards to be able to do this event as a solo?
No, we are open to solos entering. You don't need to have a qualification swim or anything like that. Again, going to our earlier conversation, we kind of looked at it and said, if you're willing to have a go at it and you think you've done the training, the time, we want to welcome that. The course kind of allows for, if you get halfway through a leg or something like that and you're like, this isn't for me, it's an easier way to get out of the event. You go to shore or go to the next beach party and hand your chip back in. And we kind of thought, if people want to have a crack, they are welcome to come down and give it a go.
I've just got a couple of faster, quicker questions to finish off. My first one is, what's your favourite swim set and why?
Favourite swim set? Well, I definitely have been training recently, so I'm going to have to answer that with anything open water. So getting out amongst the ocean, bay, wherever you are, rivers, it's great. It's good for the mind, it's good for the body, it's good for the soul to be a real catchphrase. So yeah, anything open water is good for me.
And when you are swimming, are you a singer, a counter, or a thinker?
I go somewhere between counting and thinking. Not so much counting. This is a really weird thing. I'll get stuck on a word and I'll just repeat it. And that's probably why I don't go so well at the pool, because I lose count of what lap I'm on. But yeah, I'll repeat a word, or I'll just start thinking about all kinds of things.
What advice would you give someone considering their first GeoBay swim?
Come to the swim looking for fun rather than a result. So come down, enjoy the beach parties, take your time, take in all the atmosphere of what it is. I think don't come looking for a PB or your fastest time. I mean, if you get it, that's great. That's awesome. Stoked for you. But yeah, definitely come down with the idea of having a good time and welcoming summer.
What makes for a great relay experience?
Great relay experience. Again, as you come into those beach parties, take a moment to walk up the sand through the timing gates, enjoy it with your teammates, have a laugh, don't take it too seriously. And then as you head back out, you can click into your mode, whether that's your singing voice, your thinking voice, your counting voice, and enjoy the water for what it is.
Now, for the solo swimmers, and through your experience, what is the biggest mistake people might make preparing for a 20K swim?
Probably fueling and the exposure to the water temperature. We saw a lot of people deal with stomach and cramp issues. I think it was maybe last year, one of the lead swimmers with like 20 minutes on second place, and they ended up withdrawing from the cold, and they just didn't expect it. So I guess just being comfortable being in the water that length of time and knowing what you're going to eat works for you.
And finally, when swimmers stand on the beach in Busselton after finishing the GeoBay Swim, what do you hope they've taken away from the experience?
I'd hope they've taken away a memory and a feeling of the community of open water swimming and what it's about, a sense of achievement for whether they're the solo getting the 20Ks done or the team coming together to get it across the line. So yeah, the sense of achievement and then the memory of what they've achieved on the day.
And is there anything else you'd like to mention that we might not have covered today?
Just a big thank you to the swimming community and our partners. There's a lot of work goes into this, from that initial conversation with Mick and the support that we've had from him all the way through to the swimming community and our partners, Java Coffee Works. It's been awesome. And without them, it certainly wouldn't be possible to do and deliver what we've achieved up to this point.
Now, before we go, obviously the event's sold out. If people still want to be involved, where can they find out information about the event and how can they participate?
Yeah, so jump on our social media, follow on Instagram and Facebook, sign up to our EDM through the website. We do use volunteers on the day. So our charity partner, Parkinson's Western Australia, come on board and they help us a lot of the beach parties with volunteers. But yeah, if you're coming down and looking to help out, we'd love to help. And things can range from handing out the food at the beach parties to medals, towels, all kinds of stuff. So yeah, if people have a spare minute, that'd be fantastic.
Well, Sam, I really appreciate the opportunity to talk about this event, which has been reincarnated, because there are a number of swimmers who have certainly expressed how much they've enjoyed it. So I'm really glad we've had a chance to explore it today.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Grant. It's awesome to share the story of the swim and the idea and ethos behind it.
Thanks for joining me for this conversation with Sam Moore. If there's one thing I took away from the episode, it's that great open water events aren't just about distance. They're about creating opportunities for people to get involved, challenge themselves, and enjoy being part of the swimming community. If you've enjoyed this episode, please share it with a friend, your swim squad, or anyone who might be interested in open water swimming. And if you haven't already, don't forget to follow the podcast so you never miss a future episode. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the water.